YouTube, what's going on, man? It's the kid Jalen.
And Brandon.
And we're back in another video. This time, guys, we're back to why the Cavaliers will be the 2017 NBA champions. Let's do this. I'm already loving it.
What's up, guys? Mike here, and today we are doing part 2 of my Eastern Conference preview. And then we're talking about why I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to win the 2017 NBA championship. Now, I have a lot of reasons why I think this, so make sure you stick around until the end so you can fight with me in the comments. And also, if you missed part 1 of the Eastern Conference preview, that will be in the description. But for now, let's just jump into this. Here is my preview of the top 7 teams in the Eastern Conference.
Number 7, the Charlotte Hornets.
Last year, the Hornets made the playoffs and were real contenders to reach the second round. Until that purple shirt guy messed with Dwayne Wade and got him going.
This season, I honestly think the Hornets take a step back. For one thing, several teams have improved in the Eastern Conference, and the Hornets have only seemed to get worse. They lost Jeremy Lin, they lost Courtney Lee, and they lost Al Jefferson.
Damn.
They lost Courtney Lee?
Oh, yeah, it's a Knicks.
On the plus side, Kemba Walker should return this season, improved from last year, and is a possible all-star candidate, while Nick Batum returns and should provide his usual output of great defense and a solid offensive presence. But without Lin coming off the bench, the Hornets may just not have enough offense this season to even make the playoffs. I'm only ranking them this high because last year they tied for 3rd place in the East. So it's hard to believe that they would fall from 3rd to all the way out of the playoffs with most of their core still intact. The main wild card is of course Michael "Kid" Gilchrist. For his career, MKG has been both a defensive force and a great cheerleader off the bench. But now fully healthy this season, he has to prove that he can play passable offense to stay on the court. And this year's preseason has not shown us that he can. So if Kid Gilchrist can finally learn to knock down an open jumper, the Hornets might be a very solid team this year. If not, and they're out there playing the man 30 minutes a game, there's a chance they slip out of the playoffs altogether. Number 6, the Detroit Pistons.
Last year, the Pistons finished 8th in the Eastern Conference and gave the Cavs a real fight in the first round of the playoffs. Alright, they did lose 4-0, but those were some hard-fought games. And this season, a few people are predicting the Pistons to finish a little higher than me, but I don't think they're there yet.
For starters, the only guaranteed all-star talent they have on their roster is Andre Drummond at the center spot. Unfortunately, they cannot play Drummond in the last 6 minutes of the 4th quarter of close games because he shoots a disgusting 36% from the foul line.
Damn, no. Damn.
Proves, how can he fully impact games? Please, Andre, at least try shooting underhand. It might save.
That's what I should kept doing in my
role.
role.
The rest of the roster, I actually like Reggie Williams a lot. The problem is he is both the Pistons' 2nd best player and is not.
I thought it was Reggie Jackson.
Which is why I have the.
I thought it was Reggie Jackson.
It is Reggie Jackson.
Why he say Reggie Williams?
No, he said Reggie Jackson.
He said Williams, bruh.
Stanley Johnson has all of the tools to become an eventual all-star.
He said I like Reggie Williams a lot.
Is the perfect wing in today's NBA. He's a young player who can score the ball and is excellent at perimeter defense. Marcus Morris and Tobias Harris provide the team with players who can both.
Yeah, I don't know why the Magic got rid of Tobias Harris. They have Tobias Harris, Victor Oladipo.
And they added Boban, a man who did not get enough minutes in San Antonio but played well enough when he did. Plus, he fixes one of the Pistons' biggest problems. He shoots 76% from the foul line, so they can close out games with him, which means look for Detroit to improve on their last season. But unless another one of their players can step up, or unless Andre Drummond can suddenly magically shoot 60% from the foul line, also expect Detroit not to improve too much. Not until they fix these problems. Number 5, the Atlanta Hawks.
The Atlanta Hawks have made the playoffs 9 seasons in a row. So for that reason alone, I'm not going to exclude the Hawks from my playoff prediction this season.
Let's be honest, this team is not sexy. They return many of these same players that have brought them to the playoffs in previous years. Kyle Korver can still be found on the wing knocking down threes. Kent Bazemore is still going to be a do-everything player at the 2 or the 3 spot. Paul Millsap will still be the team star, and after watching him in last year's playoffs, I don't expect him to slow down in the slightest. And while these players return into their solidified roles, the Atlanta Hawks' biggest question marks come at the 1 and the 5. This season, Dennis Schroeder finally replaces Jeff Teague as the Hawks' starting point guard. I say finally because this move has been coming for a while, and I think the whole Schroeder-Teague dilemma negatively affected the team's morale last season. If Schroeder can live up to expectations, things should run smoothly. Which brings us to the center position, which of course is now manned by Dwight Howard. After last season,
Damn.
and had a rehabilitation of sorts with Kenny and Chubb. Being honest, it genuinely seemed as if Dwight was sorry for how his career played out in Los Angeles and in Houston. Now, many people did not buy into this, but I think I believe in Dwight. I think at this point in his career, he really does want to win, and the team atmosphere in Atlanta will be a huge plus for him. Expect Dwight to have one of the best seasons he's had since his Orlando years. And
See, that's what I was trying to tell people. Dwight kind of, he's playing better than he did in Houston. And kinda in LA.
I honestly think the Pacers are going to be one of my favorite teams to watch this season.
For one thing, Paul George is an outside candidate to win the MVP if he can will the Pacers to finish in the top 2 in the East. Last season, PG-13 averaged 23 points and 7 rebounds a night and almost established himself as the clear second best player in the East. This year, at the age of 26 and fresh off a healthy offseason, I expect him to return of one of the game's best players and would not be surprised at all if he was All-NBA first team at the end of the season. On top of George's expected contributions, the Pacers begin this season with a very interesting roster. This year, Jeff Teague mans the point, but it remains to be seen if he's a real upgrade over George Hill. The addition I actually find most interesting this offseason is adding Thad Young at the power forward spot. Young has spent the last several years playing on absolute garbage teams, but has always been a driving force to get these teams at least a few wins every season. So it will be very interesting to see how he finally performs on a roster that has a real chance to compete for the Eastern Conference Finals. And finally, the biggest wild card for this team might have to be the play of Miles Turner. Standing at nearly 7 foot tall, Miles Turner is everything you could possibly want for in a modern NBA big. He can defend nearly every position. He's a great shot blocker. He can shoot the ball, and he can finish around the rim. If this 20-year-old steps up his game in a big way this season, then expect the Pacers to have an
He's 20?
big season.
Damn, son.
The Toronto Raptors.
Last season, the Raptors finished second in the East and gave the Cavs all they could have in the Eastern Conference Finals. But still, I don't really believe this Raptors team is a real contender for the NBA championship.
For starters, DeMar DeRozan has been anointed as one of the stars in the current NBA, and I just don't see it. Last season, he was an all-star, he was a member of Team USA, and he still shot under 40% in the playoffs while putting up almost 20 shots a game. That is a problem, and with the top Eastern Conference teams much improved, I think DeMar will struggle at times this season.
Quick note, because the NBA season has already started. Yes, DeMar did just drop 40. I still don't believe he's an NBA star, but I'm fully willing for him to prove me wrong. Because as my original script continued, I said,
with that said, maybe I'm overthinking this because the Raptors were the clear second team in the East last season. Kyle Lowry returns as potentially the top point guard in this conference and should not slow down a beat at the age of 30. If he can match his output from last season, the Raptors will remain a very...
He didn't start off on the Raptors.
Speaking of returns, DeMar Carroll finally will play a full season in Toronto after playing in just 26 injury-riddled games last year. In Atlanta, DeMar proved to be one of the best role players in the NBA today. So if he can provide Toronto with the same kind of support, then look out. And looking at the Raptors' big man depth, I'm actually not too concerned with the loss of Bismack Biyombo. Remember, Bismack only averaged 22 minutes a game last year during the regular season. I'm way more interested to see if Jonas Valanciunas can finally fulfill the all-star promise he has shown for years. And even if he can't, if he plays a little less than that, then the Raptors still brought in Jared Sullivan, who is a great team player.
Oh, that was a good... Dang, I didn't even know that. That's a good pickup.
So they got 2 good centers?
Now, I do have Toronto
power forward,
finishing
really?
third, but they
Centers,
are
yeah.
clearly Eastern Conference contenders if everything goes right.
alright guys, I'm going to be honest here. In my original prediction, I did have the Cavaliers in the second spot. This video was actually originally going to be titled Why the Boston Celtics Will Finish First in the East. Then I actually watched a game of the Cavaliers and I came to my senses. Because as I said in a previous video, I actually do think LeBron is going to be crazy motivated this regular season. And so far, that has shown in the preseason and in the first game of the season. So I think if LeBron is actually trying to play his hardest, the Celtics have no chance to finish first this season. But anyway, here was my case for why the Celtics could finish first in the Eastern Conference.
Last year, the Cavs finished with 57 wins and the Celtics only won 48 games. But here's the main thing here. I believe in Brad Stevens. Pistons. I think Coach Stevens finally has a team that has the potential to reach the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't think he will squander this chance. Now, we all know the Celtics added Al Horford this season, but I'm not sure you know just how important this will be on the team's success. Sure, Al only put up 15 points and 7 rebounds a game last year, but he's the perfect center for Boston's style of play. In this modern NBA, Al has the defensive ability to defend every player on the court. He can pass, he can shoot, he can score in the low post if need be. Horford should allow the Celtics to jump to the next level. Last year, they finished tied for 3rd in the Eastern Conference and only had 1 All-Star. And speaking of Isaiah, he enters the 2017 season in the prime of his career. Last season, he averaged 22 a game. This year, we should expect more of the same with an even more efficient style of play. And on top of these 2 All-Stars, Boston has all of the right role players to propel them to an excellent regular season. Last year, many regarded Jay Crowder as the most important player on the Celtics. I think his injury is the real reason they lost in the first round, and I think with him back, the Celtics will continue to improve. Avery Bradley should again provide the Celtics with the type of defense that gives the league's top guards fits. And if he can continue to improve his outside shot, he can become a real asset to a playoff contender. And finally, we have Marcus Smart. Other than Jaylen Brown, who is a rookie and could eventually be a huge part of this franchise, but shouldn't be expected to do too much this season, Smart needs to step up his game this year. By all accounts, he has the potential to be a fringe all-star as one of the best players in the NBA.
And here we are, number 1, the Cleveland Cavaliers. The team I think will win the 2017 NBA championship. Now, I've already admitted I did have the Cavs as number 2 originally, but on my script it does say LeBron James will either win the MVP or the Celtics will finish first in the Eastern Conference. Now, I'm not giving LeBron that MVP yet. I still think Kawhi does have a good chance to win it. But I think this Cavaliers team is going to be something very special. For one thing, most of their core has returned. They've got Kevin Love, they've got JR, they've got Tristan Thompson, they've got LeBron, they've got Kyrie. And they've got the old guys like Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye. They're a veteran-heavy team, and they're just playoff experienced. They're ready to take this regular season. And with that said, let's look at my original thinking for why I thought the Cavs could slide to the 2nd seed in the East.
To me, the only 2 real wild cards are LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. As for LeBron, like I said, I think LeBron either wins the MVP or the Celtics finish first in the East. My thinking here is that the Cavaliers' regular season success relies on LeBron. If he coasts this season, if he takes a few games off, I think a team like the Celtics are talented enough to sneak past the Cavs and secure the 1 seed. On the flip side, if LeBron is truly chasing Jordan's legacy and competes heavily for the MVP this year, I think the Cavs will easily
baby them niggas in the paint.
As for Kyrie Irving, this season he answered a 24-year-old who just won the city of Cleveland their first championship in what seems like a lifetime. His confidence has to be at an all-time high, and we'll soon see if he's just LeBron's wingman or if he's instead a contender for first-team All-NBA and an outside target to win this year's MVP. Either could happen, which is why I'm so excited for the 2017 season.
He's just too good, man.
Okay, and so with that said, I don't think they'll slide to 2nd. I think they will be the first team in the Eastern Conference, especially because they know they have to face the Golden State Warriors, and they're going to be gunning to have a better regular season record than them. Because, of course, that means they would have home court advantage in the NBA Finals. And speaking of those NBA Finals, yes, I think the Cavs will play the Warriors in the 2017 Finals. And I think the Cavs will win. My first reasoning behind this thinking is I'm just not going to bet against LeBron James at this point. The man has proved everyone wrong time and time again. Last year, everyone said he had no shot, and then he came back from 3-1 in the Finals and won. The year before, he put up a superhero effort in the Finals, but Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were both injured. The second leading scorer on that Finals team in the Finals was Mozgov, who went on to not even play in the 2016 NBA Finals. So as long as the Cavaliers stay healthy, I'm not picking against them. On top of that, the Warriors do have less depth this season. Yeah, they added Zaza, yeah, they added David West, but I'm not sure if those guys are actually good. Looking at the first game of the regular season, and yes, I know it was only 1 game, LaMarcus Aldridge killed them down low. This Warriors team does not have a solid defensive rebound who can rebound and defend the rim. Yes, Draymond is a good help defender at the center spot. But when he's matched up against someone like LaMarcus Aldridge, he just can't guard him. And that's where the Cavs have a huge advantage over the Warriors. Tristan Thompson is a beast on the boards. When the game slowed down in the finals, Tristan Thompson grinds out second possessions time and time again. And unless the Warriors add a more athletic defensive big man, I just don't know if they can stop that. And on top of all of this, I think Kyrie Irving takes a leap this year. I think he goes from being LeBron's sidekick, I guess, to being a first or second team All-NBA candidate. Seriously, I would not be surprised at all if he was first team All-NBA. The man looks nice and he has all the confidence.
Bro, how is he LeBron? He's not LeBron's sidekick because he was doing this shit before LeBron even came back.
Yeah, but when LeBron comes home, it's like, yo, this is LeBron's team now.
Yeah, but he's not the sidekick though. Like,
what is he?
that's like Russell Westbrook and KD. Like, who is the sidekick? Like, they not sidekicks. They both good, right?
If you guys are new to this channel,
Because they both got drafted there. Like, I mean, I know that they played at the same time, but I want to call him a sidekick.
And after that, we're going to be going back to more lists. More videos like the 7 biggest draft busts of all time. And of course, we're getting back to more what ifs. That's all coming this
Why did he do
season.
8 teams?
And if you're already subscribed, thank you.
I don't know why he did just the top 7.
I put the Knicks in the 8th spot.
I feel like it doesn't matter. They see might get bounced out of the way by the first, whoever first, second seed.
Hey, but the way Porzingis is playing this year.
If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more content for us, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, salute.